you move one step ahead and then you feel stuck and then you go back two steps. So that's something which I went through in my life, and that was a transition which was happening. And all this happened while my job was going really well. So during my job, I did my coaching certification as well. So life coaching happened at that moment. That was like a huge transition. Okay, that gave me that courage. That gave me, that broke all my fears, my inhibitions. It just made me realize that nothing is permanent.
You're listening to the Academy podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Hi, and welcome to another episode. On this episode of Academy podcast, we have an amazing lady. She's a confidence coach, brand expert for the Bespoke Designs. She's a single mom living in India and offering services across the globe. She has worked as a trainer with specialization in management development, leadership skills, women empowerment workshops in the corporate industry for 15 years. And right now, she has worked with over 15,000 people who go from taking one step forward to improving their life, facing a setback, and ending up with two steps backwards with guilt and shame. I'm chuckling because I know what that is. I probably need her help too. And then she what she does is she helps them make quantum success in their businesses using small actionable steps and helps them build a successful brand. She's a woman of many shades and talents who uses her coaching tools to help women unleash their stories, gain confidence, and focus on what they want to do, whether it's upscaling their businesses through visual branding. She helps women make that quantum success in business by taking small actionable steps to build their brands. She is a passionate visionary and specializes in helping online entrepreneurs increase their sales by increasing their inner confidence and creating a powerful presence online. Welcome, Kusha Kalra. Thank you so much for joining us on the episode today.
Thank you so much, Victoria, for having me today. I'm really excited to be here.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were able to make it. Thank you for honoring the invitation. There's an adage in my culture that says when people come together, they are not doing so because they don't have anywhere else to go or they don't have food in their homes. They just honor that call of us being human beings and acknowledging each other, that we can do with each other's stories and our presence. So I really appreciate you
Wow,
for being here.
that's
So,
so nice to know.
yeah. So
Thank you.
Kusha, to kick things off, tell us a bit about yourself. Who's Kusha? I know I've read that amazing bio, but in your own words, who are you?
Yeah, well, I am basically a single mom to my 9-year-old son, and I'm a very positive, happy-go-lucky, and a very fun-loving person. And I have, I feel that there's just one life that we have really. So I want to make the most of it. And I want that I should be able to help other women also to be able to find, what makes their soul really happy. And, to just go ahead and listen to their intuition and go ahead with whatever makes them happy. And as I mentioned, I'm from India, so I'm from a land which is of diverse cultures and diverse people. I live here with my parents
Right.
and my 9-year-old son. And I have been in different kinds of roles. So I've been in the corporate world for almost 12 to 13 odd years before I actually decided to move out and start something on my own. And while I was working in the corporate, I think that was one of the best time of my life. I really enjoyed my job. It was one of the dream jobs that I had. And my role was basically of providing training in an insurance company. I'm not sure if people would know it. It's by the name of, it was earlier called Max New York Life Insurance. I used to impart trainings related to sales, recruitment, building an agency as an insurance person, motivating people and, helping them to achieve their goals and targets. So I have always been a motivator, all my life. And I love kids a lot. Okay. So
Mm.
I think I'm still a child at heart. And I even hear that from people, like you still have a very childlike smile and, things like that. So
Mm.
I'm like, okay, really? So, but then, yeah, that's true because I feel that I can never grow up from within. I'm still very childlike and I love to enjoy life as it comes. And I love to, overcome all kinds of challenges that may come in my way.
Wow.
So, yeah, so this is about me.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. And you did say, when I was reading your bio, something stood out to me and I chuckled a little bit there when you said you actually help women who take 2 steps forward and then take 10 steps backwards. What inspired that career path for you? How did the idea come about?
So basically, Victoria, as I mentioned, I've been in training. So when I moved out of my corporate job, I started freelance workshops and I used to now do them for a lot of other organizations like big multi giants like Honda and Bureau Veritas. These were like from different industries like automobile, IT sector, even from the service industry, financial industry. So I have done workshops which were related to women empowerment, which were related to communication, handling teams, how do you deal with a difficult boss.
Mm.
So because I came from all that experience through my career, through my corporate job, I thought that I could use my experience and, share more ideas with people about how they can take care of their problems and, how they can make life easy just by, mere communication. So
Mm.
I used to use all of that experience in my workshops. And one of the thing which came out, which got highlighted a lot is my own story of being a single mom. So
Mm.
I went through a very difficult time when I had to move out from my marriage because I
Right.
didn't want to continue with an environment where domestic violence was considered pretty normal. Okay. And I
Mm.
did not want to raise my child in that environment. So when my
Absolutely.
son was 4 months old, I just decided that I don't want this anymore for my son, and I
Mm.
don't want to raise him with such values. And
Right.
that's exactly when I put my foot down and I said that, that was like one of my very big decisions of my life.
Mm.
And I moved out of my own marriage. And I think once I did that, I had my own challenges. I had my own fears, inhibitions. And that's exactly where, you move one step ahead and then you feel stuck and then you go back 2 steps.
Mm.
So that's something which I went through in my life. And that was a transition which was happening. And all this happened while my job was going really well. So
Wow.
during my job, I did my coaching certification as well. So life coaching happened at that moment. That was like a huge transition. Okay. That gave me that courage that broke all my fears, my inhibitions. It just made me realize that there's nothing is permanent. Okay. And you
Mm.
can't just put your own happiness at stake because of other people.
Right.
And that just made that complete turnaround for me. And so today when I do, like whenever I've done those workshops, I meet other women and they are still stuck up. Okay. They are
Right.
still struggling. They still don't know the answers. They still feel guilty. They resent if they're not able to take out time for their kids.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that, oh, we're not giving time to family while we're at our job, etc. So I know what they're going through. I know that, what they truly want to do. So I'm just trying to bridge that gap for them so that
Mm.
they can take that leap of faith. They can try and identify, what it is that they truly want to do. And if they're moving out into the online world and start their own business, well, definitely then, that's exactly what I'm trying to do now, because I know that the online world is the next most upcoming thing, but
Yes.
it requires confidence, it requires courage, it requires consistency. So to be
Absolutely.
able to get all these three C's, I feel that people are still struggling, and I'm just trying to do my bit by helping them to overcome their challenges.
Wow, that's amazing. You did mention, Kusha, that your son was 4 months old when you decided to leave your marriage.
Yes.
How did you find the courage to make that move? Because a 4-month old baby is a small child. How did you find the courage to know that Yes, because there are a lot of women that are in similar situations that may be thinking, especially in my culture, it's very common.
Yes.
Oh, if I go because I already have a child, nobody else will want me. Or, oh, if I go, how am I going to fend for the child on my own? So, how did you
Mm.
find that strength to actually make that decision, put your foot down and say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm actually going to go for it?
Well, actually, I think we both have the same culture. So even in India, divorce is still considered taboo. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
still don't talk about it out loud. We would rather want to talk about it in whispers. We would, if we hear somebody say, "Oh, I am separated," they would just end up saying, "I'm sorry to hear that," but then I will reply by saying, "I am not sorry because
Exactly.
I knew that this is what I wanted to do," and
Yeah.
I still get that, even after so many years. Anybody
Yeah.
new who meets me, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear," and I'm like, "No, I'm not,"
I'm not
because
sorry. I did the
sorry,
best
I'm
thing.
not sorry. Yes, absolutely. And you're right, Victoria, that it requires courage, it requires strength. And there are still so many people who would have the courage and the strength, but they are lacking support. So I
Mm,
was very fortunate. I had the support of my parents, I had the support of
wow.
my family, my relatives, my friends. Nobody sat and judged me on my
Mm,
decisions. They were all very much in support of my decision. And in fact, they did not even want me to live separately, like in maybe in America or in US or other places. You might just want to be like you and your son living all by yourself.
yeah.
But over here in India, it's not that easy. It's not really that safe also. And
Mm-hmm.
plus our family traditions are such that we are such a close knit family. We would rather want to be together, as a family, instead of having living apart, even and having like a nuclear family of our own.
Right.
So
Right.
I had that support, and I still have it, and I feel blessed to be able to have that support system with me till date. And I'm really grateful to God that they were there when I was going through this phase. They were just there to back me up, support me,
Mm,
and just be there. At that time you're going through a lot of emotional stuff, so you need
absolutely.
somebody to just be there to just say that we are here for you. Maybe not
Yeah.
help me with anything, but
But
just
just
say
know
that
you
we are
have
here
that.
for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
So
that's
I've been
amazing.
lucky to have that. And I still know that there are so many people who are struggling, but they cannot come out because they don't have some kind of support system to,
Mm,
to rest on or, to bank upon. And that's exactly what is eventually my bigger mission also,
mm,
and that is to actually create a place like
right.
where women can, without thinking twice, come there and relive their life and get back to becoming independent. Okay, so I want to do that. Like it's like going to be like a non-profit organization or something. So
Right.
that's like my long-term goal, and I want to do it specifically for women who are going through domestic violence and abuse, etc. So I would want
Wow.
to do that long term
Absolutely.
for
That's
sure.
amazing. And it's you made a very, very valuable point here about having that support structure. Because I believe a lot of women are, for example, in my culture, you see even the parents will say, no, once you're married, you
Mm.
stay there, no
Yes.
matter what, you have to
Yes.
stay there. And a lot
Yes.
of women do not even have that family support like you did.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's really, really, really a blessing that you have such a family who were able to just be there for you, even if they're not going to
Right.
do anything. Just saying, you know what, we are here for you. You can come
Yeah.
back home. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Now, Kush,
Yeah.
I just want to go back. So you did mention you had a very good job. You were working in training. You must have been making
Yeah.
good money as well. So
Yeah.
how were you able to make another courageous decision just having left your having walked out of your marriage, being a single mom? Then, because I know being an entrepreneur is not easy, it's like you're taking a dive into the wild west. How did you decide that, okay, I'm going to take this my experience and everything that I've done in corporate, and I'm going to go on my own to help other women who need my expertise? How did you make that? How did you decide to do that?
Yeah, well, that's another story altogether. And, it's amazing. It was a dream job. Okay. It was a 20-minute drive. It was one of the best profiles, when you're like a teacher, because I was a trainer there. So trainers are compared as teachers, as God, as, like a guru. And,
Yes.
people would give me so much respect there in my job. And I was earning six-figure salary and a beautiful, dream job, a lot of recognition, a lot of promotions. I was treated like an asset for my company, okay? And everything's going like perfect, okay? My child was taken care of back home. My job was 20 minutes drive from my home. There could be nothing that could go wrong, okay?
Yeah. So why
And
did you
it's
decide to walk away from that goodness, to go into entrepreneurship?
yeah, so since my son was taken care of, I really didn't have to worry, okay? But as soon as he started growing and he had to start school, that time it hit me, and it hit me really hard one day, okay? Or like one sudden day, it just happened, that I realized that now this boy is going to go to school. He's going to come back and he's going to not have anyone to listen to what happened at school, what's going on with friends, who's doing what is the teacher saying, etc. It was like a big, it just came like a flash of
Yeah.
thoughts,
It was
in
like
my
an
head.
epiphany.
Yes,
Totally get
exactly. And I
you.
was like, he doesn't have a father. And if I'm also working full time, he doesn't even have me until I come back in the evening.
Mm,
And the day is already gone. There is no problem as such, because my parents are pretty good, and they're taking care of him. And
mm,
they would have, it would have all continued the way it was. But I knew deep inside that he would need somebody when he comes back home to talk his heart out.
mm.
And if that's going to happen, and I can't expect my parents to be taking care of his homework, his studies, all his
Right.
tantrums
He
and
still
all
needs
that
that,
will come.
touch. Yeah.
Yes. So I was like that, I think it's time that I need to do something else, which makes me get more flexible and which keeps me home. So the day I had this thought, I go back and I tell my parents, and guess what? They're not happy about it.
Yeah.
Because they are like, everything is going fine. You have a fabulous boss. You have a great job. Why do you
Mm,
want to do it? And they're like, why are you doing all this? If you leave your job now, what happens when we're not there? How do you think you'll manage?
right.
And do you know what I told them? I said, because you're here now, I want to
Yeah.
take that risk. You
Wow.
know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't want to work, I don't want to stop my job then when something goes wrong,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody's not there now to take care of my child.
Yeah.
So I think I'm ready to take a risk now when you're there. Okay, let me do it when you're there, because I'll need that little bit of time to
Yes.
to make myself start from scratch as an entrepreneur. So it took me a while, okay, and a long time to actually convince them,
Yeah.
and they finally did. They still doubt it sometimes, but they know that I am so determined, I am so confident, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't give up easily. That's one quality that I have, that if I make up my mind, I will do whatever
Which is
is
the best
required.
quality to have in life. Like once you have
Yeah.
resilience, every other
Yes.
thing is secondary.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just can't give up on things. And I'm so positive, people will come back and say, no, it's not going to work out. I'm like, hell yeah, it's going to work out. Why are you even
Absolutely.
thinking all negative? Just,
Yeah.
just change your perception about things and give
Yeah.
it some time. So, it's been a roller coaster ride, okay? You're right, entrepreneurship is not at all easy. I have lived it, but I knew that that moment came when I had to just, stop my job and move out. My boss said, what's your problem? What do you want to do? I said, no, I leave early from home and I'm not able to drop my son to school. And he says,
Mm,
okay, come an hour late, but why do you have to leave your job? I said,
exactly.
listen, that's not what this is about.
Exactly.
So,
It's
and
not
that's
it's not
exactly
about it's
how,
not about how good the job is. This is for my
yes,
personal freedom.
yes,
Hmm.
yes, exactly. And, that's exactly how I took that second big decision of my life, of,
Absolutely.
moving into something which is
So so
flexible, etc. Yeah.
so Kusha, when you finally left your job, did you have like
Yes.
money saved up? Like a buffer to last you a while? Because we know being, starting something new may take
Mhm.
time before you start to see the rewards. So did you like plan ahead, put some money aside
Um,
just to make sure that, you know, you were okay for the period of time that it would take?
I did, yes. In
Mm.
fact, I did have savings. I've always had savings, even till now, and I
Okay.
make sure whatever I'm earning, I have like a 5 to 10%, going in savings
Mm-hmm.
every year. So even if I might be in a loss, there will be savings.
Mm.
That's my
Mm.
theory. Like
Yeah.
I can't, even if I'm not making profit anytime, but there is saving there, and it's not to be touched. Really, it's like a backup. It's
Right.
like an emergency fund, and it's always going to be there. So
Right.
when I moved out of my job, I had enough savings. In fact, I joined one of my ex bosses,
Right.
and we together started our partnership into doing the freelance trainings. So it just took us, I think, 6, 7 months to really get back on track. So that was the
Mm.
only phase of struggle, because everything was starting from new, talking to HR people, going and doing like presentations, trying to figure out what their requirements are.
Mm-hmm.
So after about 6 to 8 months, we were like back in the game kind of a thing. And, we were
Right.
making some good money, and together we were becoming known in our city. Like these are
Mm.
like one set of trainers who come and they've got these particular skills and they do
Right.
great trainings and etc. So that was happening again.
Mm-hmm.
However, that couldn't go on also for really long, because he was still continuing to be a boss instead of being a
Ah.
partner. So I could make out after a year, I could sense that it won't really carry on for too long. And that's
Mm.
when was the third decision of moving totally out on my own,
Yeah.
because till now I was still working in a team or as partners.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved out all by myself, and I had to almost start from scratch again,
Mm.
because it was more his thing and his project. So I said, let me just cut cords, part ways, and start all by myself, and let's have more peace of mind rather
Mm-hmm.
than having any kind of harsh feelings for anybody around.
Yeah.
So that's exactly how my journey started, like all by myself. And I still
Right.
continued to do trainings before I took the plunge last year to become full-time online entrepreneur.
Right. That brings me to the next question. So, when you decided to take the plunge to go full time,
Mhm.
how long did it take to actually get your first client? And what has been the biggest challenges that you have experienced with your business and juggling the online, business with your personal life as a single mom?
Right. So I always wanted to make sure that I could provide coaching sessions to my clients. And initially, it was all free work. It was purely to help people. So anybody and everybody who came asking for a solution, or they were stuck in a problem, I used to sit with them, talk to them,
Hmm.
maybe countless hours even on my phone, just trying to understand what they're going through. And I did that all for free. Okay. I did
Right.
not realize that I'm just letting my skills and my services out there for free. And
Hmm.
obviously, if I continue to do that, people will not value it so much.
Exactly.
So I wanted to use all this and make it into like online course or an online coaching program. So while I was doing that, I had a new discovery of my own skills, and that
Right.
was design. Because when I was trying to work on my own coaching business, I had to design everything, like my sales page, graphics, images, banners,
Mm-hmm.
anything related to social media. So I was doing it all. I was doing really good, and I was like impressed with my own work. And I thought that if this is going so good, why can't I even help other entrepreneurs? So I was in a mastermind course, and I
Okay.
had my other fellow coaches also who were trying to start their business, and they needed help related to graphics and design. I offered them, like in exchange of maybe some of their services. So it was more like a barter system. And with that, I realized that I could actually make this as my main business. And what I did was to see if it can, just giving it to a friend is different versus working for somebody who's like a third person who doesn't know you is different. Okay, so I
Yeah.
wanted to validate my services.
Yeah.
And that's exactly when I decided that I'm going to offer my services initially for free.
Okay.
So I came out on social media. I shared in some of the Facebook groups,
Yeah.
And from there, I got work and I got reviews and I got great testimonials. That just pumped up my confidence. Okay. It was like, wow, like
Absolutely. Somebody will pay me for this.
exactly. Yes. And I was like, what am I doing? Why have I not,
Been doing this
explored
for,
this side of
yeah.
me?
Yeah.
So that's exactly how. And this was, by the way, in, early February, March
Mm,
2018. So it's been more than a year. I'm like a year and a half now, maybe more than that. Yeah. So I'm completing
yeah.
like almost 2 years. And since then, there has been no looking back. And I started creating my own packages. I started networking more with people.
Yeah.
And I started with small packages, and then I started giving them like, a la carte service, which is like just maybe combination of banners, or somebody just wanted flyers, or somebody just wanted one kind of a design work done. So I
Yeah.
initially was doing like small pieces of work,
Yeah.
and later I realized that I need to make them into nice big packages which people can take, and we can work long term with them. So the best part has been whoever joined me and whoever worked with me, they became my repeat clients. So till date,
Yes.
they have been repeat clients, and they keep coming back for all kinds of design work. And every time I ask them, like, why are we together? And, like, what makes you come back to me? And the only answer they give me is, you get me, Kusha. And that's exactly why I would want to come back and not go anywhere else. So that
Absolutely.
just makes me feel so like so blessed, because I'm able to offer my service. I'm able to give them that confidence, while I'm able to create that beautiful, visually impacting, something unique, and something which is like unforgettable brand for their business. So I
Right.
feel it's like a win-win situation for both of us.
Absolutely. Wow. It's an interesting story. Okay, Kusha, you did mention that you are a designer. It looks as
Mhm.
though at first you did not really think that was what you was going to be your core offer. It looks like
That's
you
right.
were more focused on the coaching side of things.
Yes.
Um, was this because you had done this design, like you said, you were a trainer most of your corporate life, and
Mhm.
obviously, as a trainer, you would design most of your materials. Is it
Yes.
because you did it so frequently, you kind of overlooked that skill or talent that you had?
Yes. Yes,
Right,
that's right. So I had to do all those presentations, all those courses, the workbooks, the course modules. I had to design them, and that was part of my job. So nobody even bothered that how well they were made or not, because most important thing for us was the training delivery. And
right,
once I moved out of my corporate job, I realized that, I do have the skill, and people require this. That's the best part. How do you know that this is something which is required? Unless, unless you identify it for your own self, and B, you get it validated. So
true.
when I get that validation that this is something which is a problem which people are facing today, I
Yeah.
said that, let's make it like a business, and, let's help them out.
Wow, beautiful. So, Kusha, if people want to learn more from you or want your services as a designer, where can they find you?
So it's very easy. I'm available all across social media, because that's what I'm all about. I'm a brand expert, and I
Yeah,
talk about having a powerful online presence. So I am present online on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. I have my own website. The name of my website is the Bespoke Designs.
right,
And I have my own personal Facebook page, which is by the name of Kusha.Kalra. So, they can get in touch with me directly on Facebook.
right.
Otherwise, my website, Instagram, and Pinterest and Facebook, they're all by the name of the Bespoke Designs. So that's exactly where they can get in touch with me. In fact, I keep running a 5-day challenge every month, and it's a free
Right.
challenge. My mission is to help women to make over their brand in 5 days.
Wow.
So I cover everything related to colors, related to branding, related to images, and build a foundation in that 5 days time.
Right.
So they are able to take that as a foundation or like a blueprint and move ahead with the branding for their business.
Amazing. Amazing. I will be putting the link to your
Yeah, sure.
website, Facebook, Instagram in the show notes. Yeah, so there you have it. Thank you so much, Kusha, for sharing your story with us. I believe that this will inspire another woman to take a second look at what they have, what skill they have that they can offer, And for women who may be in abusive relationships, just to give them hope that it's possible to actually make that move and utilize the skills that they have to create a life that they will truly enjoy. So I just want to thank you so much, Kusha, for sharing your story. I know that this will inspire another woman. And
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
I will definitely be in touch with you. And yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Most welcome, Victoria. Thank you so much for having me. I would definitely want to end this show with a beautiful quote. And
Yeah.
it's a quote which I have written for my own book. So I think I missed out on talking about that. I'm a best-selling author also. And
Yeah.
it's from my book called Rise in Pursuit of Empowerment.
Yeah.
And the quote goes something like this: where there is a will for happiness, there is always a way. All you have to do is follow your intuition. So, with that, I want to once again thank you, Victoria, for giving me the opportunity to be here. I had a great time talking to you,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm really hoping that all the people who are listening to this will get that hope and that courage and confidence that they have left behind somewhere in their challenges, in their problems.
Yeah.
And they can come out of it, and they can just start their life again and do whatever they feel makes them happy.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. We will be tweeting that quote on the Academy Twitter page. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you once again, Kusha,
Thank you so much,
for
Victoria.
coming on the show. Thank you. So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at iCandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at iCandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wallaby. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org.